EOC management team briefings are critical to the effective management of an emergency operations center because they are used to share incident information, to identify issues, and to facilitate common situational awareness. They should be conducted at least once during each operational period and generally involve minimal discussion. All EOC management team personnel are expected to attend. The EOC director is responsible for determining when the meeting will occur, and the planning section chief usually chairs the meeting. For an effective EOC management team briefing, best practices begin at the section level. With the exception of the EOC director, each section chief and management team lead is responsible for completing a status report form prior to attending the briefing. The effectiveness and quality of the management team briefing is directly related to the quality of the section status report. Section chiefs and management team staff must have clear understandings of the activities and issues relative to their section in order to provide a clear and succinct report in the management team briefing. The status report is a key tool commonly used in the EOC to collect information on the overall status, priorities, issues, and resource needs of each section. When used correctly, the status report helps each section chief and management team member provide a concise, high-level verbal overview of section activities. The information used to populate the form is related to activities, priorities, and issues in the EOC, not at the site level. The information provided on the status report form includes the current situation, or what is currently occurring in the section or function's area of responsibility. So for example, in using a hazmat scenario and addressing the first operational period, the current situation for the logistics section may include staffing the EOC is underway. The next section on the form addresses outstanding issues and challenges, or what issues within the current operational period still need to be resolved. For example, using the same hazmat scenario, the logistics section may need to report need a minimum of 2 clerical staff to support the documentation unit in the planning section. The next section refers to the anticipated priorities or activities which address what will be the priorities for the section or function during the next operational period. For example, work with planning to identify the equipment and staff requirements for each of the evacuation pickup points. The last box on the form should include other comments that your section may consider to be important to mention, such as any public information or safety issues. For example, logistics included will need to know what non-municipal resources may be needed as many businesses are closing for the weekend, and we'll need to contact them soon if we want to procure equipment or supplies. The completed form is what will be used by each section at the management team briefing. The planning section chief will prepare an agenda to be approved by the EOC director. In the initial stages of activation, the EOC management team briefings should be held frequently to support response operations. Meetings can decrease over time as the event continues. Some key elements for the briefing agenda may include status report updates and a roundtable from each section, probabilities and predictions, public information and media issues, the next operational period, and action plan status and priorities.
Good morning, everyone. This is our first management briefing. I hope everybody brought something on their status reports for us. I'm going to hand over the meeting to Mike, our planning section chief. He will chair the meeting from now on. And remember, it's been a very busy operational period so far, and we're expecting that our situation is actually escalating. So we'll need to keep this as brief as possible. I'm hoping we can have this meeting completed in about 20 minutes. Mike?
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Don. And that's a great reminder. We want to keep this briefing brief, everybody. And that we're here to share information regarding the first operational activities of the EOC and only to report on your section and not what's going on at the site. We're here to identify what the priorities and issues are for the EOC and what we need to implement and focus on going forward. Don't repeat any information that's already been stated. Okay, I'm going to scribe and capture those key points on the flip chart here, and then we're going to address those issues once each section's had an opportunity to provide their update. Why don't we start with operations, John?
Okay, thanks, Mike. Our current situation in operations is that I have 3 people here with me, and we are sharing the roles of connecting with the site for updates and requests. We have provided logistics with the information that we will be evacuating people from the seniors center and do require a number of buses. The current outstanding issues that we have, we need a couple more people to staff operations, and we currently do not have a clear understanding how many people need to be evacuated. We are waiting for the incident commander to confirm the chemical that is leaking from the truck so we can determine the radius needed for the evacuation zone. Our anticipated priorities moving forward are working with planning and logistics to determine the evacuation zone, the transportation requirements based on the chemical, and also we need to work with the information officer to get information out to the public to let them know about the evacuation and possibly where to go.
Okay, thanks, John. Excellent. Why don't we move on to Bettina, logistics?
Okay, so in logistics, our current situation is that we're working on staffing the EOC. We're also working on a 2-day staffing plan for the EOC in the anticipation that this event's going to go a bit longer. Our outstanding issues are that the EOC security have not turned up yet, and we also need 2 more clerical staff to support planning with their documentation. And our anticipated priorities are to continue working on this staffing plan, as well as working with planning and ops to organize transportation, as well as the resource requirements for the evacuation points.
Thanks for that, Bettina. Thanks, everybody, for staying focused and sticking to reporting on just your sections. Looks like we have the startings of a pretty good action plan here, a game plan for the next operational period. There's a few themes that I see here, those being EOC staffing, evacuation zone, transportation, getting those reception centers up and running, public messaging being our key priorities as we move forward here. So it looks like we have a pretty good base for an action plan for the next operational period. You guys think we can accomplish these in about 5 hours? Sound reasonable?
Good.
Excellent. Okay. So if I can collect your status reports before you leave, I'm going to work with Don, the EOC director here, and we're going to try to have an action plan finalized for you within the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Terrific. Okay, so it looks like we're going to, next operational period, it'll be between 1,100 and 1,600 hours. So our next management team briefing will be at 15:30. I hope everybody's managed to get some stuff down on their position logs so you can brief your sections when you get back to them, because we'll have them very busy, I think, for the next 5 hours. If any issues come up in between, don't hesitate to come and contact me right away. Other than that, I think we're done here, and I'll see you all at 15:30.
Okay, Don, I was thinking we'd probably look at evacuation here.
Based on the direct inputs of the EOC management team, an action plan will be developed by the planning section and will receive sign-off by the EOC director. It will then be distributed to all section chiefs as a reference document for all EOC staff. As a written record of direction with clear objectives, tasks, and timelines, the action plan encourages ownership and accountability across the EOC for each operational period. Remember, it's critical that all section chief and management team leads report back to their staff on the objectives, tasks, and timelines identified in the action plan immediately after the management team briefing concludes. Don't wait until the written document is signed off and distributed to begin undertaking assigned responsibilities. As a recap, the importance of an effective EOC management team briefing begins with completing a status report from each section to highlight the current situation, outstanding issues and priorities, and future concerns. The effective use of the management team briefings process will keep the EOC sections focused on priority activities, will set timelines for the completion of key objectives, and will ensure that good situational awareness is being maintained by everyone in the Emergency Operations Center.
Some of that stuff. The other main objective is the evacuation. We've been reworking the operations and logistics to make sure that we've got the hot zone clearly defined and that we're arranging for transportation. We've